Hi everyone, it's Liz again with the Summer Reading Club Cooking the Books Time Travel Home Edition. This is another segment of their series, and I decided to travel back in time. And the first thing we're doing is doing something called a wacky cake. A wacky cake was popular during the Depression era and World War II because they were rationing certain foods. And in this cake, there are no eggs, milk, or butter. I thought it was a little wacky myself. Anyway, the recipe has, for the dry ingredients, 1.5 cups of flour, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, a cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I have all the dry ingredients mixed in here, and I'm just going to take my whisk and mix it around so I can incorporate it. And then we have vanilla, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, white vinegar because that helps the cake to rise, 6 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and a cup of cold water, which I have in the fridge, keeping cold. Now, what you do next is you take your dry ingredients here and you make 3 holes. There's 1, 2, and 3. And you take the wet ingredients, which are the vanilla, pour it in one of the holes, the vinegar, the oil, which is going to overflow, but that's okay, and then pour the cold water over the entire thing. Now, I'm going to mix, which doesn't really take very long, and put it together. And this, to me, in my head, I thought about it, and it's kind of like at that time, a pre-cake mix. So, I'm mixing it up. I have an 8 by 8 inch square pan that I've sprayed with cooking spray. And I'm just going to pour the mixture, the batter, in here. Whoops, no, I'm doing it the wrong way. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. But you have a 350 degree oven, and got just about everything out of here. I like to give my pans a little tap just to get out any air bubbles, and this is the result. Now, as you can see, I had a little something happened here, and it just kind of caved in a little bit, but they say it's going to taste like a sponge cake. What I did was I made some frosting. You don't have to. You can just put powdered sugar on this, or not frost it at all. I used chocolate frosting as my as the one I chose, and I'm going to, where is my spatula? Okay, this is my offset spatula, which I think you know that I love. And I'm just going to frost this cake. This, the icing recipe will be on the website. And I have enough for 2 cakes. It's pretty dark frosting. But let's see how this goes. And the offset, as you can see, spreads it nice and smooth. So, get it into all the corners. just to dress it up a little bit. And you see that cave where it caved in? You don't even see it. I have a few sprinkles to put on top, just to give it a little color and make it look more interesting. And this is what they call a wacky cake. I'm going to cut it open and see what it looks like inside. I have no idea what this tastes like. They're telling me sponge cake, which is fine with me. We'll see. I'll give it a taste. Well, there you go. I'll get that in a second. It doesn't look too bad. There you go. It tastes, I thought it was going to taste more chocolatey, but it's really a very light chocolate taste, and the frosting works very nicely with it. It's not bad. Give this a try. Wacky cake. Welcome back. Our next recipe is something a little special. It's called chocolate swirl, pound cake, and Neapolitan baked Alaska. I have made baked Alaska in many forms over the years. I've always served them in a meal that was particularly heavy, like a Thanksgiving meal at the end. And it's always been received, not just because it's such an interesting, fun dessert, but because it's it just makes the heavy meal just go away, and it's just really delightful. Anyway, so this is made with it says chocolate swirl, but it's really marble cake. And what I've done is I've taken a carton of the pound cake, marble cake, and I've cut it into 8 slices, each about 1 inch thick. And what I'm going to do is line the bottom of a loaf pan, which I've put plastic wrap over and had an overhang, so it's easy for what we're putting in it to get out. This is a very easy baked Alaska. So you put the cake, you line the cake on the bottom, and then get your ice cream, which is the Neapolitan flavor. I've already made another one so I can show you the finished product, because once this goes into the freezer, it goes in for 4 hours, and that's a pretty long time for it to go. So I've taken this and I've cut the half gallon in half, and I'm just going to ease this out, which is not coming so easily. There you go. Out of the box. And I guess you can get it a little softer so that it just kind of fits into the pan easily, but I didn't do that. So anyway, here's the rest of the cake. We're going to put this on top. I'm going to take this particular one and I'm just going to cut it in half and just fill in the sides here, because it really doesn't matter once it comes out. I'm going to cover this now with plastic wrap, and it goes in for 4 hours. So pretend 4 hours have passed and we're up to the next level here. taken it out of the freezer, and it's ready to be frosted. It's going to be frosted with meringue. Now, meringue are egg whites, and in this case, a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and 1/3 cup of sugar. Egg whites are really kind of a funny thing to work with and can be a little difficult. If there's any kind of fat involved in the bowl that you're mixing in, or there's any kind of just any kind of particle, it's not going to whip up. But if all things being equal, you need to separate the eggs when they're cold, because they separate easier when they're cold, and let the egg whites sit to room temperature so they whip up easily. So I'm going to take my mixer here, and I'm going to start on low until it gets foamy. You start on low because you don't want the egg whites splashing all over the place. I'm going to increase the speed a little bit until it gets foamy. And you just have to wait this out. This is the hardest part of this exercise. Okay, as you can see, they've just started to get foamy now. I'm going to increase the speed.
Okay.
So I've added the cream of tartar to the bowl. And they're foaming up, and we're going to keep beating. And now we can increase the speed until soft peaks occur. And I'll show you what soft peaks look like. While because there's volume involved, and you saw there was practically nothing in the bowl when I started this. We're getting there. We're almost there. Okay, now I'm going to add, it's cold to stay still, I'm going to add the sugar. Wait, I gotta stop it.